In part one of Esther, chapter two, I got to talking a lot about how even through marriage, God can want to speed things up, even if you're somebody that is not comfortable with, how fast things are going. Because oftentimes, you meet somebody and that somebody, wants to, it kind of seems like they're wanting to go fast and you feel uncomfortable. Well, when God, ordains marriage, most of the times he wants it to go fast, and there's a reason for that. And towards the end, I was going to share, you know, a, a reason why, and then I kind of ran out of time. And so I had to do a part two. And so here in part two, let me share a reason why God would say, don't be afraid of, getting married, fast. Um, don't be afraid of getting married quick. One of the reasons is because, like God might be trying to um, use that marriage to kickstart your ministry. Or, there might be, somebody praying for, ministry for, certain things. You might even yourself be, praying, Lord, I've been trying to step into ministry. I've been trying to step into the things that you are calling me to do, but it's not going anywhere. It's not getting kicked off. It's not getting kickstarted. Why isn't it, getting kickstarted? And God can at times, use the um, somebody. He can send somebody that is an ordained godly marriage, so that way, through that marriage, things can get kick-started. Things can, start warming up and start happening quicker, right? Because before, you're like, I'm trying to step into God's calling, but nothing is happening. Just like in the book of Esther, like when Esther stepped into marriage, God was able to start, doing things, pretty quickly. Um, and likewise, that's what I'm talking about is God, he puts things on your heart. Like maybe it's a ministry. Maybe God wants you to raise up a church. Maybe he wants you to get on, social media and, preach the gospel and, things like that. And maybe he has a business for you, and maybe you've tried to do those things, but those things are stuck in motion. They're not getting kick-started. And maybe God wants to send somebody to you to get married so things can get going. And yeah, I'm a very, I can testify, kind of. I mean, I'm not married, but I am somebody that has been like trying to do what the Lord has called me to do, and it's not really going anywhere. And so I was thinking about it yesterday. It was like, well, It's probably because I'm waiting on my ordained spouse to come around and be like, "Yeah, let's just do it." Like, and I don't know, I'm not saying I know who that is, but like, just, it could be that I'm waiting on, you know, somebody that God would want to send um, through marriage to, help get things, kickstarted. And that kind of goes hand in hand to what I've been saying, and again, I can go back and point to the whole book of Esther. Things did not start happening until she became queen. Then God started to use Esther. See, God didn't God could not use Esther before marriage. And likewise, the son that got sold into slavery, God could not use him until he was second in command of all of Egypt. Do you see where I'm going with this? So you might be somebody that is like, well, I'm uncomfortable with, going fast. I'm uncomfortable with just getting the marriage papers and signing them and saying, well, let's go, let's do this thing. Like, that seems, fast to me. That's not the traditional way. That's not how it's supposed to be done. But wait a minute, are you trying to argue with the Lord? Are you trying to, because if you are trying to tell the Lord that's too fast, you're the one that is um delaying God's promise that he has for you. If God is wanting you to step into your promise, you know, step into your promised land, and God is wanting to do that through marriage, and you're saying, wait a minute, that's not traditional. Wait a minute, that's too fast for me. You're the one that is delaying the promise. Don't be afraid to step into it, because once you step into it, that's when God will be able to use you. And so, step into the promise. Do not be afraid of, you know, going too quick. Nothing is too quick when it is ordained by the Lord.